All right, everyone. We have Damon Walsh on our community conversation today. I'm so pumped to have Damon on. We're going back and forth for I feel like weeks trying to get this dude on the community conversation. Now he's here. He tried to get out of it yesterday by using his kids as an excuse. I'm just kidding, but he's here, and I just want to welcome Damon. Damon, welcome to the community conversation, man.
Thank you. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, so dude, it's awesome to have you on. We usually kick these things off with kind of sharing your story. Like, how did you find the gym? How did you get involved with Prototype? Take us back to day one and where you're at today.
Oh, wow. It's been quite some time. So my wife and Rienzo's wife went to Providence together. So I've known Mark for many years. And when we moved to Westboro, he was telling me about CrossFit. And, I thought, like many people, that it was just going to be a bunch of gymnasts and really strong people, and it wasn't going to work for me. But eventually, I got sick of going to sports club and picking up weights and looking around and just putting them down and leaving the gym. I knew I had to do some change. I knew I had to make a change if I was going to work out and get some results. So I came to class, and I think, Brent French was there, and Sheehan, and a bunch of people. And man, they would always be like, what was the hardest part? And it was like the whole thing. Are you kidding? And, after a while, it's just, you fall in love with the community and, all the people, and the workouts become more routine. And, I've really enjoyed them. So awesome. I'm over 1,000 workouts in, and about, I think, 6 years, coming up on 6 or 7, maybe 6 years in.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
so
dude.
It's been great, man. It's been, I love it. I'm always trying to sell the package to new people I meet, around me and stuff. And I'm telling you, just like me, I think it takes people a little bit of time before they say, all right, I could do that. Because, when you go into class, it's always fun to see new people start and get into it, because when you go into class, it takes a little while to ramp up, but it's fun.
Yeah. Walk us through kind of like that, experience. Cause Mark's a pretty fit dude. So I can understand why, the interpretation of or I guess the thought of, oh man, it's going to be a bunch of Marks, bunch of go-hards like Mark, and
right.
Not necessarily, and no offense, I can take shots at Mark, but right. At the same time, it's it can be a little oh, I don't know if this is for me, but kind of walk through that, that experience kind of starting out, and what those first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when did you, when did you start drinking the Kool-Aid, I guess is the question.
I was kind of hooked on just the people early. And the virtuosity classes, I thought were really great, because the movements were foreign, and just doing a kettlebell swing, the way I think you do it and the way you do it are very different. Double unders, you almost do nothing to do it correctly. I think that there was just just learning the movements was fun for me. And then strength starts to come back, and I love the strength portion of what we do. And yeah, I think that's it. It's the more you show up, the more you start talking to people, the more you I've found a great network in the gym. I think that the gym for me is just as much about the network as it is about working out. Sometimes when I don't even feel like working out, I show up, I see people, I talk, and then, they probably talk more than the coaches want me to talk at times. And then I wound up doing a workout, and I sweat, and no matter how well I do it, I've worked out and I feel better. I went to Thrive yesterday for the first time I can't even remember, and it crushed me. But the rest of the day, I felt like, man, I just worked out really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love that. Oh, shout out to Carl. Carl's gave me some awesome career advice this week, and Dan McCarthy's come over and helped me, with things around the house that I couldn't do with 3 other men, and Dan just does it himself, really. Graham helped me train for a marathon. I mean, all these goals that, all these things that I'm not sure how to do on my own. Somebody else has done it, and they're it's a great community in that regard.
That's so cool, man. The specific shout outs, even this as early as this week, you said like Carl with like career advice. You guys are like, I think you guys are in like same like sort of field, like med devices and like sales and that sort of stuff, right? And I feel like Dan is like the token like helper. Like that guy like will just show, like if you need something, he'll just show up. Like even if you're like, no, I got it, he'll just be like, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I agree. He can do it's funny. He can do the job of like several
Absolutely.
guys. And then that's cool on Graham helping you train for that marathon. Yeah, man, it's like, it's so funny. Like it's such a common theme with these conversations and having people on here and just talking is like the community, the people, like it's like important, and you develop these like relationships. And I think you said it best, like you said, you found like a great like network in the gym, and it seems like you kind of leaned into that too. Some people, I don't know about what you think, but like you mentioned, like kind of new folks kind of coming in, like I think like some people will come in and they might like kind of keep to themselves. It takes a little time to kind of like get involved with some people, but like, I don't know, like based on like, if you were like a new person again, or you had advice for like a new person, like what would that be in that regard of like, getting involved or like, making those connections and like the importance of that?
I was a lot like how you just described, like I was excited that I was working out and it was getting easier and I was getting fit, but I wouldn't call myself an introvert, but I'm not nearly as outgoing as I am when I'm at the gym. So, initially I was more quiet, and the more I warmed up to people and the more I built relationships, now I just kind of go in there, and it's kind of like a free space to communicate however you want to communicate, and work out as hard or as mellow as you want to. And I would just know what your goals are. And I think we used to, I don't know how you onboard people these days, but we used to like write down certain goals. And that's why I brought up the marathon. I had a half marathon in mind, and then eventually I did a marathon. But if you know what your goals are, and just jump in and talk to people about them.
So cool. Yeah. The onboarding process, like we do like we sit down, kind of do the goal assessment, like we call it a free no sweat intro session. And then, folks do the virtuosity, like the one-on-one kind of like on ramp. Yeah. We actually have moved it from 4 sessions to like 5 sessions now. So we get like an extra. What we're trying to do actually, which is kind of cool, is include like, members into that 5th session, like a buddy. That doesn't have to be like a friend, but like, someone that like, could be you, and you got like, and then now you get like a 2-on-1 session with a coach, and you can work on skills, but it's also, you can build a relationship and almost help coach like the new.
Yeah. Or person. I think even more important, would be more important to me, is that, you always feel like you know somebody better after you've done a partner workout with them.
Yeah.
When you work out with people, every day, but when you're going back and forth with the reps, I did a workout with Garrett recently.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And, Garrett, great coach and everything, but just one of these like animal CrossFit people. And I've never worked so hard. We did, the workout started with Karen, and then it went into like 300 double unders, which he did, I think 2/3 of. And, but we never dropped the ball with Karen. Our time was so fast. And then we got out of the gym, and we had to do 2 laps or 2 or 3 laps. And then Garrett beat me. I slowed us down by like another 3 minutes. But the important thing is, like he made me go as hard as I could when I worked out. And now I feel like I know him a little better.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That's good insight. I think that takes like, I don't know about you, but like, I feel like it takes time too, to kind of like get into that like mode. It's funny. I would love your perspective, like talking about like partner workouts. Like some people avoid the partner workouts because they don't think they have a partner, or someone can like partner up with them, or they don't know enough people in the gym, or they're like actually kind of scared or intimidated to let someone down. You don't feel like you've been here for 6 years. You basically, everyone knows you. You're like the guy. You're the guy that drives on the walls, man. You're the dude that like decorates everything, and everyone's like, oh, that must be Damon right there. But like, I don't know, what's your perspective on that? Was it like, were you always like that? Did you like kind of get right into the partner stuff? You weren't, or like, how did that?
No, I mean, I agree. I think people feel like that, and that's just in your head. It has, everybody just wants you to work out and get the most out of it, and everybody's also getting the most out of what they're doing. So, I mean, you're never slowing anybody down, or ruining somebody's workout. You show up, we're all having a great time, and we're getting through it together. We're gonna sweat.
It's so funny. I mentioned for you guys that maybe don't know. I said everyone knows that. Maybe I don't think everyone does know, but you're like this like master graffiti like artist that just draws stuff on the walls. You guys are, if you're listening, all the awesome artwork at the front of the gym on the chalkboard is basically done by Damon. It's his like creative mind. Like, how did you have you always just been like an artist? Like, what is your, I think I know your background a little bit. You grew up in like New York, right? Like tell us about that. Like, how did you get into art? Like, can
you see?
Yeah, dude. Oh, I remember you showing me that. Yes. That's so cool.
4-story building.
That's so cool. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, like Damon just kind of showed a picture of this, what you said, 4-story building.
4-story building.
Yeah, tell the story. I'm not even gonna ruin it. This is the picture that he just showed me.
The mural's 20 feet high, 15 feet wide. It's on a 4-story building, and it says "Marry Me, Hope." And so that was 12 years ago, and now we have 3 kids and live in Westboro. And we all go to Prototype at times.
So if you guys are listening, Damon just basically crushed every single other person's marriage proposal, because he basically created like a massive mural to ask his now wife Hope to marry him back 12 years ago. How long did that take you to do?
So I had so that mural I had a ton of help with. It's day's work, really.
One day.
One day, yeah.
Oh my God! And is that all spray? That's all spray paint.
That's all spray paint, yeah.
So how did you get into like as art? Like I want to know that. Like I want to know how you got into like just doing all this stuff, and then you just started like doodling around at the gym and just writing on stuff.
There was this guy in my neighborhood in Queens who was super into it, and I don't know. I guess we all just got into it. He was a couple years earlier, and we'd see his murals around town, and we kind of introduced ourselves, and we talk a couple times a week. So it's like he's a massive artist, and then including my buddy who did most of that mural I just showed you. Mm-hmm. He's Georgia and Crosby's godfather, and just a really close friend. And I got into it when I was little and didn't think much of it, and went away to college, and then came back in the work life, and then I think I wound up having an apartment. My friend James lived with me in Manhattan in the apartment that I grew up in, which was an old department store, huge loft in Soho, which the neighborhood's completely changed. It's unrecognizable. But when I lived with my buddy who was doing these art murals all the time, that's when I just started doing it more frequently and getting back into it. And through him, he was commissioned to do that massive Biggie Smalls mural I told you about.
That's right. Yeah.
That was like, if you catch the Biggie I don't know, movie on Netflix, it pretty much ends on this mural that I did with my buddy, and that was commissioned to him by this old school subway writer named Lee, Lee. If you just like Google Lee graffiti on subways, it'll blow your mind on. He's in like all the subway art books and stuff. Yeah. So I got to meet that dude, and I don't know, like it's art. I think art is awesome, and my son is drawing all kinds of stuff, and he's got a great imagination. My daughter loves it too, and I think it's just something that kind of clears the mind.
So cool, man. It's cool. I love how he's like sharing it with like your family and stuff too, and getting them into your pet. And is that like natural, or did you kind of get them into like the, hey, watch dad draw, and then, or did they just naturally, it's like what they kind of lean into naturally?
Well, so it's funny because my son is now doing bubble letters and that kind of stuff too, and they look pretty cool. But whenever we draw stuff in the driveway, I had this like draw to book, and we do all these characters or monsters or skate parks and stuff like that. No matter what I was doing, I was always like adding letters and stuff on top of it. So I think naturally it just progressed that way.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That's so cool, dude. I love hearing that. And I mean, we've been talking about like making like well, not me, but like the idea of like creating some sort of like, I don't know if it'd be a mural, but some sort of like journey, some sort of thing on the wall, which we have to keep keep chatting about. But I mean, you're the guy, man. You're the guy to.
Well, I think I can make it happen, or we can make it happen. The thing is, we have to develop a storyboard. So we need, like, I don't know, if you were to create like 10 or 15 slides and you just write the message and the vision, then I'd be, or not even the vision. If you wrote the message or the memory, I'd be able to create the vision behind it and then put those
so cool.
up.
That is so cool. That is not how my brain works in terms of like being able to like take a thought and then make it into something visual. I can get thoughts, but I'm making it creative. I think that's a special gift, man. I want to circle back into like the CrossFit side of things. Typically, like in these conversations, like folks can kind of like recall some memories. I'm curious, like, what are some of the things that stick out in your mind? Could be like events, could be like particular workouts, like some of the things that like stick out in your head of like your like best memories, and maybe like the not so best, like you're almost like, I hated that workout, worst workout ever. Anything that comes to mind?
I remember getting through my first Murph or just doing Murph. Getting through my first Murph was huge, and then being able to Murph under an hour was awesome. Obviously for me, not vested, but the last couple of times I've done Murph, it's been in that 55 to 57 minute mark. So it's it's still fighting the hour. It's not a natural workout for me, and for most people, I'd say. And when you show up for your first Murph, or any Murph really, but the first one in particular, the gym is so electric. There's just, so many people. They're just working out all over the place. It seems like it's organized confusion, because everyone's trying to jump on the rig at the same time, and then they're just doing the other part of it anywhere. So that's really cool. My first Murph. I love the CrossFit Opens. One, like, I remember we had this workout. You might even know what it was, but it was like, I think there was like box jumps and deadlifts, and then after, if you got past all that, you'd have to do all these. What's the movement where you put like your foot in your hand and you do a squat?
Oh, pistol squats.
Yeah, you do pistol squat, and then you have to do a clean and jerk at 225.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I couldn't get past the pistol squats. But since we loaded the bar, that was the first time I cleaned 225, and then I threw it over my head. And John watched me, and he said it looked like it went up in slow motion. Like, it was just everything I had. So that was like a really cool memory of.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't even think that's not even recorded in my regular numbers.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but worst, nothing sticks out of worst. And for me, particularly, nothing's ever bad, because I have a radial head replacement in my elbow, so some movements I just can't do, and there's an opportunity to speak so highly of the coaches. Like, no matter what's hurting you, and that goes for anybody, like, just show up and work out, because people are going to do substitutes. They're going to provide substitute movements, and you're going to be able to accomplish your goal for the day if it's getting good exercise, sweating, and probably laughing with somebody's going to make you laugh throughout the workout.
That's cool.
I love it. Yeah. And, I did want to say that you seem to hire really well, like the coaches, all different ages and all different people, men, women, and you've never missed. It's just incredible. Like, everybody's so great. So I've gotten to recently. I've gotten to spread out and just go to completely different. My schedule has been different. So like I've been in the noon class more than ever, working out with Brian again, and then haven't worked out with John in a bit, but I've spent the last year working out with John, and then Allie's awesome, and then Sam just crushed me the other day, and it's awesome. Leah's incredible. I mean, just every coach is awesome. And then you got Evan now, and is Jack coaching? It's like I did a workout with Jack too, and he's like just kind of like busting my chops on how bad he crushed me in the workout. But when you work out with people who are just they're just on a different level, you have a great time doing it, and you laugh about it. So I don't know. I think I just rambled on a little bit there.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, that's all unfiltered. That's cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of good coaches that that care. I think you really emphasize that. I mean, back to Jack. Yeah, Jack's kind of in like our learning development program, kind of like a future coach sort of deal. Started as like an intern. Actually started in our kids program, got into our adult classes. He's been leaning a little bit more into the competitive side of like the sport of CrossFit. That's a goal of his. He has a passion around like coaching and wanted to be a coach. And so we're kind of helping him. He's definitely our youngest coach or coach in training, I should say. And he's starting out by working with a lot of the kids in our youth program that we have. But yeah, man, that's cool. I appreciate you saying that. If anyone, there's a coach who's listening right now, I'm sure you appreciate it too. That was cool, man. I appreciate that.
My kids' favorite memories are when the mixed martial arts used to be in the back. I would bring them in, I'd work out, and they would just run around like crazy on that mat. And that's like my dad growing up in New York was he's been doing Tai Chi my whole life, and I remember that him doing Tai Chi, and I would be running around on some mat while it was going on. So it's kind of like, I'm remembering my childhood when I bring my kids to the gym.
So cool. That's so cool, man. Bringing it all full circle, man. It's all about community. It's all about family. I want to get into the rapid fire round of these questions. I hope you've prepared mentally, especially if you've watched these before. I haven't changed the questions. I always say that I'm going to change them. I never change them. It's a bad habit, but I've added parts. So first one, favorite movie of all time, favorite TV show of all time, and then what are you currently binge watching? Those are three questions into one in question one. 3 parts of question one.
All right. So I don't. Recently, True Romance came to mind. But if I say they get all-time favorite movie, it'd probably have to be Goonies.
Goonies, classic. Hey, you guys.
Anchorman was amazing too.
Favorite
TV show. What I think Ozark is a series I'm really into. And if you want to binge watch something that it's really funny but hit or miss, it could be like some of them are just they're out there. But it's an old writer of SNL. It's called I Think You Should Leave, and it's produced by Tim Robinson.
Tim Robinson. John, so did you and John talk about that?
I would sometimes I just text John ridiculous things, and I text him a couple of skits, I think.
And he knows because he watches that. I remember one of those skits, which you're so right. It is hit or miss, but it's wildly uncomfortable. Right. But there's that one skit with the movers in the house, like stomping on the couch, running around, and the guy's telling the story of like he's like a lawyer, and he's like telling this. Does this ever happen to you? Does that ever happen to you? And if you're listening to this right now, you have no idea what we're talking about. So go and watch that show. Whatever the episode is, just Google it.
That's in the first. That's season 1, episode 1.
So funny.
It's so funny.
That part's so funny.
Guy's like a lawyer. He's doing like a regular lawyer commercial, and then he just flips out and loses it.
It's so elaborate. And then the other one that's funny is when he goes in to tour the it was like a haunted house or a haunted mansion.
Yeah, he goes tour.
And he starts and he's like swearing and asking those questions, and he's like, you can say anything, and he just says like whatever. And he gets kicked out.
Try to keep it related.
So funny. Yeah. All right. Those are the 2 ones. All right. We'll leave it at that. All right. So we got the movie, we got the show, we got the binge. Second question. I think you're going to like this one. This might even be harder for you. Favorite musician, band, artist of all time, and favorite song of all time.
I don't have any of those answers.
I know.
I can't answer them. So I'll just
tell you. Give me a top 3.
I'm not even gonna answer it.
Okay, give me the story then. All right.
So in high school, I had the opportunity to intern for Def Jam Records.
Oh yeah.
So all through high school, I had turntables and buying records, and anything that came out in 1990, I have on hip hop. So in that experience, I was there when they launched Redman's Muddy Water album. A lot of I met Warren G. He was one of the coolest guys ever. He wanted me to like just take him out on 8th Street and just chill out with Warren G, like walking around Manhattan with like a famous rapper. And everything we did, we were kind of on the street team. So what we did was package records and send them to DJs so they can get radio play before they launch. And you know, two records of every Def Jam song was always free. It was incredible, you know, like
awesome.
just a great experience for DJing. And if there's anybody else watching who could help me out, I did try to convince Mike Collette to set up a DJ booth at the gym so we could spin records in CrossFit at the same time.
I would love that.
I would just show up and spin records. I wouldn't even have to work out because it's just about the community.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll do that, man. You find one and I'll buy it, and then we'll just do it. I don't know what those things cost. I don't know what they are, but
I've got 2 turntables under my stairs we can start with.
Dude, bring them in. I don't even care. Bring them in and do it on a Saturday. That'd be cool as hell. I think that'd be so awesome. Cool. That would be so cool. All right. Well, that's definitely the best story, and I will take that as an answer. I'm not gonna like press you on that. That's just, I don't think it gets better than that. All right. Last question is more like family related. What's like favorite like frivolous activity, family activity that you like to do? Could be like something you like to do by yourself, could be something you do with family, but not working out really.
So if I'm by myself, weather's nice, I'd love to go golfing. Family, we go to Lake George a lot. We enjoy the beach. We try to get a week in August up in Wells. Just running around all the sports and stuff. Tonight we got Crosby's got hockey and George's got basketball. So, just hanging out, spending time together. Last week we watched Home Alone, which
awesome.
It was just as funny to watch them laugh than it was to actually watch the movie and laugh.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, just chilling with the family.
That's so cool. I love it, man. Well, Damon, I appreciate you being on the community conversation today. I always feel like when I do these, I learn so much more about folks. I feel like I learned a lot about you today. Everyone that's listening right now, thank you so much for tuning into the community conversation. Remember, every week we have a new episode of community conversation, whether it's our nutrition special or just a regular community conversation, connecting with one of our awesome members. So again, appreciate you tuning in. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts or not, we are now live on Apple Podcasts. So make sure you check it out there, or on Spotify, or you can watch this on YouTube. But again, Damon, appreciate you being on, and we'll see you soon, everybody.
Thanks.